Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I've got a terrifying but amazing lineup of encounters to share with you. Some questions answered from William and some subscriber encounters. Also, a possible chupacabra attack on a taxi driver in Mexico. Before we get into these encounters, a couple links to share. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merchandise to help this channel to continue to grow and go. All of those links are in the description below. I also have a second channel for creepypasta, fanfiction, and scary voice acting. Stories that really don't fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything that you're into, follow that link and give those stories a listen. You may just like what you hear. I also started a GoFundMe page to help raise some money to pay for the tuition for my daughter's school. When I got full custody of her, she was going to a school in the county she lived in. I live right across the border of that county, and the school is either making me put her in a different school, a city school where I live, or pay the tuition to keep her in the school that she's gone to since kindergarten. She's now in 6th grade. The year's almost over, as you know. If that's anything that you're willing to help with, that link is in the description as well. And I want to thank everybody who has generously donated. You guys are truly amazing, and I truly appreciate it. Believe me, you have no idea. Now I've taken enough of your time, guys. Let's get on with today's terrifying but fascinating encounters. Shall we? Let's start tonight off with some questions to William answered. Hey Jeff, my commander told me of a time that they lost 13 agents in 10 days. This was in 1968, but at that time they had 20 agents doing what we are doing with 12. Anyway, just a couple of quick things that I see keep getting asked. These creatures are nomadic and travel most of their lives, not settling in one place for very long. There are places that you can go to increase your chances of seeing any of the big three at any given time, and seldom does problems arrive in these places. Here are a list for your viewers: Gardner, Montana; Duckwater, Nevada; Hope, Arkansas; Cadiz Cove, Tennessee; Bryan, Ohio. These 5 locations, we get more calls than any other city nationwide from these small places. So I will answer some questions now before I get some rest. Question number 1. Tracy Roper-Brad ask, can you kill them with a recurve bow? My answer to you, Brad, just how skilled are you and exactly how good are your nerves? You could probably take a Dogman, putting it in the head first shot, if your nerves hold up to it. A werewolf is a different creature. You would absolutely zero room for error with a bow, because you would not get a second chance at a werewolf. Most people don't get a second chance with a gun. I put 5 rounds out of a 50 cal mid-torso, and it was still moving till I put one in its head to make sure it didn't get back up, and that was at maybe 6 to 7 yards. Street Race Guitar asked, will a 380 work? I'm sorry to say that you probably are better off with a large knife. I truly believe you are only going to make it mad, and that you will die from your encounter. But also, let it be said, if that is all you had, it would be better than nothing at all. But I probably would consider trying to stay very still and hope that it loses interest in me before I would shoot it with a 380. Sorry. William McLeese asked, what to do if someone from the public kills one and tries to draw attention to it? Well, William, I'm not trying to sound like a smartass in any way, shape, or form when I answer your question, but here goes. I've already given you advice that sounds like you went against, and bought a gun, and I myself own many. And they are for self-protection and for doing a job that I'm paid to do. But if you bought one with the sole intent of going out and trying to hunt down one of these creatures and drawing media attention to it, you will lose to the creature, and even if you are fortunate enough to kill one, someone else will make you disappear. It happens, William. Our government does so much stuff the people know nothing about. It's a shame, and it should not be that way. Sorry. Excellent Lord God asked about creatures coming where you live, and do they turn from human to beast? How to tell. These creatures are nomadic and travel where they want to travel, no way to change their course. If they want to go north, they go north. Or if they want to go west, they go west. They almost have no sense of direction, but they do. These are highly evolved creatures and highly intelligent. They can get their meaning across to you easily. As for them changing from human to beast, they never change. They are always in beast mode 24 hours a day. You can see them any hour of the day, and it's getting more frequent during the daylight hours. Jeff, hope these help out some of your viewers, and I am now going to bed to have my own nightmares. Maybe I will get some relief when I start getting my stories out there. I certainly hope so. All I can see is the faces of those young men from last night that lost their lives, and I couldn't save them. William. I wasn't going to share this part with you guys, but I felt it warranted since the end of the questions ended on a kind of question mark note for you guys. Hey Jeff, I'm just leaving the office. I was going to try to get your address and look you up while I was up here, but things didn't work out. As we moved into the area last night, a little after midnight, things went bad for us. I was guessing maybe 14-7 in favor of the Dogman, but it was 23-7, and I lost 3 more agents. So out of our original 12-man team, there is only 4 of us left after last night. It was like Custer's last stand, and with a breach in security a week ago at our underground facility, we killed 23 Dogman last night, and they have been loaded on helicopters and taken back to Virginia. Only 1 had a tattoo. All but 4 were males, 7 to 8 years old. And the 1 was around 55 years old. The females had no ear tattoos and were estimated to be about 15 years old. When speaking with our commander this morning, my retirement has been postponed until further notice, and I'm not a happy person right now. He's saying all this will be covered up, that none of it will make the news. 7 deaths swept under the rug away from public view. But I've seen it before, and it will not be the last time, I'm sure of it. I'm needing some rest, so they have someone driving me home in a few minutes. I will try to answer questions after a while when I get some rest. I need some much-needed sleep. William. Tonight's second subscriber encounter. Hey Jeff, it's Jay. I gave you my encounter a few months ago from New Jersey. Had a strange run-in with government officials and things happening with the IRS debt and so on. They told me if I handed over what evidence I have, I would have my life back, which I did. These people can ruin your life with a click of a button. They don't care about witnesses telling stories because we are all monitored. They care about what can be proven. I actually had a run-in with an officer that was there that night, and we talked and met up to discuss what happened that night, and what he found out. How each police department or entity keep a black book on cryptids that the higher-ups deal with. Also, I've, since my encounter, got a few guns, and a Rottweiler as well. I also had another encounter in the daytime a month back while I was walking my Roddy. If you're interested, it wasn't the same one back then, as it was captured not too long after my first encounter. I believe it might. Second part of the email. Good evening, Jeff. I just wanted to start by saying the information that William gave you is spot on. I know it's hard to believe about such creatures and Dogman types and stuff like that, but I have a little more info, and I got it from a proved reliable source. First off, these things haven't been around for 70 plus years. These have been around for as long as men have been around. The ones your source put out was the time they were genetically engineered in the 50s, which they needed DNA from the original upright walking canine, or as the world knows them, the Dogman. These creatures have been around in the Egyptian era, even documented in the Bible. The original Dogman had intellect that far exceeded our own. Till today, we still can't recreate the pyramids. If you're interested in that information, I can give you that at a later time. Anyway, back to the encounter at hand. After my life was put in disarray, the powers that be gave me a final opportunity to get my life back, which I took under certain conditions. So, a few months after the whole ordeal, with trying to piece my life back together, I purchased a few handguns and a 12-gauge, also purchased a Roddy puppy from my brother-in-law. 4 months in time, and she's now 9 months old. I take her for a walk occasionally at the nature park. Me being from Jersey, the gun laws are strict, which forbids you from open or conceal carry. To my fellow Americans, if you believe in the Second Amendment, do not, I repeat, do not move to New Jersey. You will regret it. Anyway, back to the story. I would walk my dog and keep protection in my car. So the last time me and Kia, my Roddy, went to the nature park was around a month ago. It turned out to be a really beautiful day, around 5 p.m., and as we were heading back to the car, about a quarter mile back, something felt off. Kia started to be on guard, head darting back and forth. As I realized that I was possibly being hunted by something. So I'm trying to stay calm and get us back to the car. As I did that, whatever was following us was no longer trying to be discreet. Kia started growling ferociously, and then the thing that was following us stepped out of the brush. Oh shit, it's the same one from last time. No, wait, this one is a couple feet shorter. I'm 6'1", and it had me by 3 inches max. It looked like a juvenile. It was a good 25 to 30 feet away. Fear was overwhelming. I accepted the fact that I was going to die that day, but not without a fight. It charged us. I braced for impact. It stopped short of 15 feet. It looked at me and Kia and smirked as if we weren't worth its time and leapt about 20 feet into the brush. I looked back at Kia and she was trembling. It took me a few minutes to get her to snap out of it, and we headed back to the car. As I believe it was following us from the trees, we made it to the car without any further incident and took off. A couple of weeks later, I was at Walmart and ran into the officer that was there a few years ago at night, my first encounter. We talked at Fridays, and I told him what had happened a few weeks ago, and he told me about an encounter that changed his life and job functions forever. That is something you'd like to hear. I will provide it to you as well. If not, that's fine as well. This weekend is going to be getting some more guns, because sometimes these things follow you home. Any suggestions on what I should get? Quick breakdown. A lot of people misunderstood what William was saying. And that's where a lot of negative comments came from. He wasn't saying that these things were genetically engineered in the 50s. He was saying the program to use these as bioweapons was created in the 50s. These things have existed for many years. I'm not saying billions of years, I'm sorry, but hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years. They are in the Bible. There's mention in the Bible, which I've actually mentioned in a couple uploads previous. Everyone knows of Anubis. And so that answers that question. William never stated that they were created. They were here long before the 1950s, okay? Hopefully that can squash that negativity, because I'm still getting comments from that, even though I did correct it once before. As far as gun suggestions, this is just me, and I'm sure William will hear this upload. He carries a Desert Eagle 50 cal. I have a 4.58 SOCOM AR platform, and a couple other. I've got a regular AR 223, 5.56 green tip, and a PC9 carbine. I feel pretty safe with what I have. I just go high caliber. Obviously, we know a 380 is not going to do it. I wouldn't even put a 9 up to bat on one of these things. My go-to, if I were to be attacked or my home was under attack by these things, which I never foresee it happening, but if it does, 4.58 SOCOM is going to be what I'm reaching for as quick as possible. Tonight's final encounter. It's often said that dead men tell no tales. However, forensic investigators, both professional and amateur, do, and a mysterious and gruesome death of a taxi driver in Mexico has many of them arguing over the cause of it, with suggestions ranging from wild canines to a lion to a chupacabra. What could trigger such a wide range of theories, and a fear among locals that prompted officials to close all schools until it was resolved, and for the state attorney general to become involved? Attack in Val de Bravo, Mexico. The Yucatan Times used that headline to report on a death of a 56-year-old taxi driver. Melchor Anselmo Delgado, whose body was found on March 1st, but whose cause of death was still a mystery 4 days later. Delgado had gone out to check on property he owned in Val de Bravo, a town in the state of Mexico, on the shore of Lake Avedaro in central Mexico. When he didn't come back, family members went looking for Delgado and first found a shredded sweatshirt. Going back for lights and help, they eventually found his lifeless body. We know that it is very likely that it is a large and carnivorous animal. We have a body of a person who has no impact with firearms, no injuries from sharp instruments, has no strangulation features. What he presents is a matter of bites, of tissue tearing due to what appears to be claws. That report came from Alejandro Gomez, Attorney General of Justice of the state of Mexico. Why was the state attorney general involved? It turns out that attacks by packs of wild dog have been a problem in the state for a number of years. Between December 2012 and January of 2013, the bodies of 4 people were found. Among them, a 26-year-old girl and a 8-month-old son, in places of Cerro del La Estrella Ecological Reserve in Iztapalapa, The then Attorney General of the capital concluded that the death of these people were caused by an attack of 10 or more wild dogs, that is, by a pack. However, relatives told Info Bay at the time that the body showed unexplained signs of torture. Relatives of Delgado said that his wounds do not resemble those made by dogs or even by packs of dogs. The claw marks were said to be about 7 centimeters deep, or 2 3/4 inches. The Attorney General responded that Delgado probably was killed by a dog pack, but the wounds could have been made later by some other animals, a theory the family rejected because of the short time between the death and the discovery of the body. However, the deep wounds caused other experts to also discount the dog theory, and instead propose something much larger and more deadlier, even bigger than a coyote or a wolf. While research suggests that the attack was possible by a lion or a Bengal tiger that allegedly escaped from a nearby ranch, the mayor also does not rule out that it was caused by some other type of big cat or pack of wild dogs that live in the forested area. The Yucatan Times reports that the mayor is so concerned about an escaped big cat or some other carnivorous and dangerous animal that schools were closed in 13 educational areas until the beast or beasts were identified and captured or killed, while wildlife experts who examined the fur believe it's from a large canine. DNA samples have not been tested as of yet. A massive hunt involving both police and military is underway. A large dog would not make such deep claw marks, and many locals have reported hearing roars. So it's not surprising that they don't believe the experts or the government and continue to fear the creature is an escaped big cat or the chupacabra, which is believed to have long, sharp claws and long, sharp spikes on its back. While there is no report of Delgado's body being drained of blood, that doesn't quell their fears, especially in a country with such little trust of the government. The Yucatan Times did little to quell those fears by giving a detailed history of the chupacabra in that same news story. Will his family and the residents of Val de Bravo ever find out what kind of beast killed Mr. Delgado? Will they accept the answer? Will local schools be forced to stage chupacabra drills? We'll be watching for further development. Oh, I told you I had a good upload for you guys. Sorry about tonight's upload. My throat is definitely off. I'm drinking hot tea. I don't have the coronavirus. It's just temperature change in upstate New York and regular allergies. No fever, no dry cough, just a normal, basic throat and chest feeling of spring. I'm believing that what happened in Mexico is straight up a Dogman. I mean, experts are saying it's not big cat fur, it's canine fur. If I'm not mistaken, the chupacabra in Mexico and Central Mexico, South America, isn't really that big. I think like 3 to 4 feet. So I don't really... And also Delgado, Mr. Delgado's blood is still in his body. So I'm just going Dogman 100% on that. And hopefully William can possibly shed some light on that one. Number 2, I briefly discussed what I thought. I would love to hear everything else, the other information you have to share. I will be emailing you a little bit later tonight. Hopefully you're listening to this and get my email. And thank you, William, for answering more questions. He has been listening to my uploads and answering questions as he goes. And, like I said, he never once claimed that these creatures didn't exist before the 50s. He just said that in the 50s, projects were created to weaponize these things. Which, it's not a bad idea. I've heard a couple of subscribers actually mention sending a pack of Dogman to Afghanistan and Iraq to take these guys out. But unfortunately, once they get a taste of freedom, like William said, they're not that containable afterward. So, I don't know. Anyway, throat's getting a little rusty right now. I'm going to have some tea and relax for the rest of the night. Once again, I apologize, and I will have a really kick-ass upload out for you guys tomorrow to enjoy. And with that, guys, I'm going to bid you farewell.